technological farming with livelihood advancement through renewable energy po. At ayun po, ang explanation po niya, gagamit po tayo ng solar energy through technology po na merong automated po, nagagana yung fan and temperature monitoring. And bakit po may livelihood? Kasi yung mga high value crops po ay pwede po natin gamitin sa sa negosyo natin. For example po ay yung mga banana chips, ganun po. Pwede po natin dyan i-dry. So, ito po, sa institute po, meron po kami existing na system. Kung makikita po natin, ayan po yung system. And ayan po, solar heat collector. Ito po yung typical na solar bubble po na ginagamit, no? Kung saan dyan po nila inilalagay yung mga dinadry. Pero dito po sa system na ito ay makikita po natin, meron din tayong drying cabinet kung saan doon po natin nilalagay yung mga high value crops po natin. Hindi po doon sa solar heat collector. Then, meron din pong blower. Ayun po, na nakikita po natin, medyo maliit lang. Siya po yung nagtatransfer ng heat from heat collector to drying cabinet. Then, meron po tayong solar panel and battery for the blower po. Siya po yung nag-generate ng blower. Yung current blower. And then, ito po, yung loob ng cabinet na highlight lang po. And then, ayun po, for the existing system po, ayun po, nag-generate po siya ng solar. Collects heat from the sun using solar heat collector. Collects renewable energy to charge the battery. For the drying naman po, putting the crop to dry inside the cabinet for several hours and manually turning on and off the blower when drying. Then the temperature monitoring naman po, they monitor the temperature using portable temperature device. Data manually extracted from the device to the computer. Yan po yung existing system at yung process po niya. And po, in-explain lang po natin siya dyan. And for the innovative system naman po, ito po yata na ilagay, no? Yung una po, it was collecting data from the sun through the solar heat collector during sunny day or daytime. Second, drying the cabinet, it can be dry multiple and different kinds of crop that is needed to be dried for several purposes. Bakit po maliit lang yung fan size na to, no? Ito po kasi yung first two po ay same lang po siya dun sa existing natin. Same functionalities. And the third one, the blower transferred the heat from the solar heat collector to the drying cabinet. Letter A po, the blower automatically na po and remotely controlled to turn power on and off the blower. The blower automatically turn and off depending on the temperature needed in drying po. So kung ano po yung gusto nating temperature heat dun sa loob ng cabinet, pwede po natin siyang kontrolin yung blower kung para po ma-generate yung enough heat na kailangan natin. And the blower automatically turn on and off when the solar heat collector collects enough heat to sustain the drying process. Bakit ko po nilagyan ng ganito, no? Minsan po kasi kapag ang blower ay humihigop ng malamig na temperatura, so ang ibubuga rin po niya ay malamig. So, imbis po na i-dry ng yung nasa cabinet po natin ay magmo-moist pa po yan. Kung malamig, umaandar po siya, tas malamig din naman po yung hinihigop niya na temperature. So, number 4 naman po, to monitor and maintain the temperature. Una po ay there will be a dedicated or fixed temperature monitoring on system. Kung napaliwanag ko po kanina, no, na ang nakalagay lang po dun sa existing na device ay portable monitoring device, and yun nga po, hindi po siya dedicated yung monitoring device na yun para dun sa ating system. Secondly is it monitors the temperature inside the drying cabinet and the temperature in the solar heat collector. So hindi lang po yung drying cabinet yung kaya nang ma-monitor yung temperature, ganun din po yung temperature ng solar heat collector natin. And for the fifth po, the real-time site monitoring and web page viewing will be implemented. So kahit po nasa office or nasa bahay or nasa loob ka ng kwarto, ay pwede mo pong ma-detect kung enough pa ba or kung gumagana pa yung ating system, kung nagda-dry pa po ba siya. So sa innovative system po ay ito po yung mga materials, no? So meron pong solar heat collector, gagamit po tayo ng Wi-Fi, ng solar panel, ng battery, ng blower and temperature sensor. For the controls naman po, gagamit tayo ng microcontroller and the mobile phone. And for the output, drying cabinet, andyan, LCD monitor. Kung nasa site po tayo, makikita po natin yung temperature and web page monitoring. Yun po yung outputs. And po, yung objective naman po na to ay to enhance temperature control and monitoring through IoT and solar integration. And key components po, real-time temperature monitoring for precision, implementation of precise control mechanism powered by solar energy, utilization of data-driven insights for informed decision-making. Application sectors po na to ay agriculture and secondly ay healthcare. Bakit po nagkaroon ng healthcare, no? Kasi po pwede po tayong mag-dry dyan ng mga dahon which is ginagamit naman po sa paggawa ng gamot. So kaya po may secondary na healthcare dyan. So the goals po ay ensure the optimal environmental condition, improve resource efficiency, contribute to overall operational excellence, and the approach for integration of scalable and adaptive IoT solution. So objectives for this project is not focused on advancing temperature control and monitoring through IoT, but also integrates a solar solution, ensuring a sustainable approach and fostering economic development and livelihoods within the local communities. The scopes for technological implementation explore the technical aspects of integrating IoT and solar technologies for temperature control, assess the feasibility of deploying sensors, blower, and solar-powered system, investigate communication protocols for efficient data transfer and monitoring. And for the scalability and adaptability, access the scalability of the integrated system to accommodate future growth. Explore the adaptability of the technology to different environmental conditions and requirements. And meron pa rin po na scopes, risk assessment for identify the potential risk associated with technology integration and deployment, develop mitigation and strategies for identified risks. Fourth ay cost-benefit analysis. Conduct a comprehensive cost-benefit analysis of implementing the IoT and solar integration, evaluate the long-term economic viability and return of investment. Yun lang, sir. Thank you po.
Pwedeng magtanong.
Okay, thank you. Okay, any question? Yes, Mr. Rector.
Kasi po, maganda po yung topic, no? Ngayon, well, ginagamit ang solar, unang-una, magdadrive ka, no? Yung sa location ng solar mo, solar panel, yun ang magiging ano dyan. Tapos, pinakita mo kanina yung mga fans mo, yung mga electrical loads. Kasi ako may solar sa bahay, isang panel lang. 1 meter by 1 meter is 40 watts. So hindi niya kaya yung isang fan. Yung isang fan, electric fan. Actually, 40 watts, konti lang nabibigay na yun. Pinupuno lang yung baterya ko para sa mga ilaw. So ikaw, yung sa'yo sir, bali mukhang malaking lugar yan para paanda rin yung mga electrical loads mo. Kasi 1 meter by 1 meter talaga, 40 watts. So tapos yung mga battery ka pa. So yung sabi mo nga, cost effective. Yung mga material mo sa solar energy, yun lang, medyo yung payback time nun. Medyo yun, medyo matagal ng konti. So, ayun, yung lugar, yun lang ang concern ko. Tsaka,
Kakayanin ba?
yung lawak ng pagkakapitan mo ng solar. Yun lang. Yun lang po, sir. Yun, basta 1 meter by 1 meter, 40 watts sa akin. Tapos may baterya akong 12 volts, 8 ampere hour. So, saglit lang yun. Yun lang po. Salamat po, sir.
Hello po kay Sir Recto. No? Yes po, ang gamit po na solar panel for this, share ko lang ulit. Ayan po, no? Kung makita po natin, may isa lang po siyang solar panel. Yung solar panel po na ini-implement po natin dyan ay 50 watts lang po and having a 12 volts battery. And for the blower po, hindi po tayo gagamit ng AC blower na kagaya ng electric fan na binabanggit nyo po. Kaya hindi po ganun kalakas yung kukonsumo natin na energy for the blower, sir. And for the area naman po, yes po, kailangan po ng medyo malaking area dito, which is na naaarawan, syempre. And for the location naman po, dapat talaga ay maging mausisa po tayo sa paglalagyan na to dahil bukod sa malaki, dapat po naaarawan and hindi po dun sa less heat po ng araw. And for the cost naman po, kaya ko po nailagay, nabanggit din naman po dun sa paper ay kaya ko po nabanggit yun sa paper dahil yun din po yung parang negative effect na to dahil medyo malaki yung system. Kaya po nilagay ko po yun, yung cost of return of investment din. Yun po.
Ano nga yung magiging title mo? Masyadong ano yata. Improve mo pa, magano ka pa ng ibang mga nandyan sa ano.
Improve ko, sir, po yung title, sir. Tama po ba?
Oo. Ano mo? EE, no? So, dapat makuha
po.
Oo. Na makapture niya yung T-flare, pero siguro baka tignan mo, baka meron ka bang mabuo na ano. Sige. May suggestion ka, Charlton?
Ay, thank you po. May tanong lang, sir. Bali, ano po yung natin, purpose ng research dyan uli? Bali, parang inana mo yung parang ginagamit natin yung solar po, yun po kayo?
Yes, sir. So, bali, solar powered po tayo through drying, sir. Yun po yung with IoT system, sir.
Yung gagamitin sa drying is solar na po? Parang
yes, sir. Yes po.
Pero na-consider nyo yung bali yung panel, bali kung yung panel na panel po ba gagamitin? O hindi naman?
Sir, kung nakikita nyo yung naka-share sa atin, no? Iba po kasi si solar panel kay solar heat collector. So si solar panel po, siya po yung nagge-generate ng power po natin ng battery, and kung maglalagay po tayo ng mga microcontrollers, siya po yung mag-generate ng power. Pero si solar heat collector po, siya po yung nagge-generate ng heat para mag-dry dun sa loob po ng ating drying cabinet. So magkaiba po sila ng kinukuhanan na heat.
Okay. So yung solar heat collector may laman po 'yan. Is it may tubig ba diyan, or ano po bang medium natin? May tubig ba diyan na ipapangbuga natin later as steam, or is it paano siya naka-blower po ba 'yan? May blower para dun sa mga grain? Ganun po ba 'yan?
Yes sir, may blower po tayo. Ayun po, naka-arrow po yung blower. Medyo maliit lang siya. And DC powered po yung blower natin. And si solar heat... Yes sir.
Paano po siya mako-collect? Bali, ano pong medium ang meron sa loob nung solar heat collector?
Yes sir, ayun ang maganda po. Si solar heat collector po ay isang, mapapansin niyo po ito, no? Yung nasa naka-share. Si solar heat collector po ay isang cylindrical tube po. So wala pong laman yan. Yun po ang nakakapagtaka, no? Parang kung alam po natin yung si solar bubble po kasi ay wala ring laman. And meron lang po talagang covered lang po talaga siya ng plastic. After covering po ng plastic kasi yan, ay nagko-collect po siya ng heat from the sun. And yan po yung nag-generate po natin. Yun po yung hihigupin ng blower natin para i-dry po yung laman dun sa cabinet.
Bali higupin ng blower po. Parang induced draft ba yung blower na kapag pahigop?
Yes po.
Kasi nang ibubuga po.
Yes po. From solar heat collector po, yung na-collect po niya na heat from sun, hihigupin po ng blower. Then, ibubugat po ng blower papunta naman sa drying cabinet.
So, paano yung control po ng temperature natin, yung pagbuga? How do we maintain yung ba yung operating temperature ng natin, ng gas or ng hot gas? Ano po ba yung temperature natin? So, how do we control or how do we maintain yung temperature in such a way na yun talaga yung ideal na pang-dry po ng mga grain?
Sir, hindi tayo mag-i-specific sa grain ngayon this time, no? So, sa high-value crops po tayo na like mushrooms po.
Mushroom po ba yan?
Mushroom, banana, mga ganun po.
Okay. Hindi yan pampalay.
Possible din naman po siya na pampalay, sir. Kaya lang po, ang konti lang po talaga yung mai-dry po natin. Kasi po, ang laman po niya ay ganito lang. Okay. Lang po yung loob niya. So tanong niyo naman, sir, na sa temperature, paano po nakokontrol? Yun po yung i-integrate ng system po ngayon kung sakaling ma-aprobahan to, na hihinto po si blower if enough na yung heat na kailangan niya. And hindi rin naman po aandar si blower kung hindi pa enough yung heat dun sa heat collector. Kasi ang tendency po nun ay papasok lang po niya sa loob ng dryer yung malamig na hangin, which is hindi rin naman po makaka-dry. Sa ngayon po kasi yung existing na system natin ay ng temperature po ay for monitoring lang, and wala po talaga kaming control sa pagpasok ng temperature.
Bali, ano po yung lumalabas na temperature from that solar collector or solar bubble po ba yung tawag dyan? Ano po ba yung ibang term dyan?
Solar collector lang. Ngayon, sir, wala pa po siyang specific na tawag. Pero ang kinuhanan po talaga ng concept na to ay si solar bubble.
Doon galing sa concept na yon. Mga ano pong temperatura yung inilalabas niya para dun sa mga high value crop?
Around hanggang 40 degrees plus po, 45 ganun, sir. Kaya po niya iwasan.
So, bali may existing na system na tayo and parang i-improve na lang natin. Yun po yung bali gusto yung maging purpose. Parang gagawa nyo ng mga iba pang mga pang control, tas yung mga integration ng IoT. Bali
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yun po sana.
Sige po, yun lang po. Kasi interesting po yung project. Salamat. Ay, nasa sir.
Other questions? Okay, wala nang tanong, no? Oh, Isagani, nabuhay ka. Ready ka na?
Sir, good afternoon po. Pasensya na po. 2 weeks po
Yes.
akong nawala.
Oo nga eh. Nag-alala nga ako. Ikaw yung hinahanap ko last meeting eh.
Kakatapos lang sir ng big event po namin sa Liga ng Municipal Engineers and City Engineers ng Batangas.
Hmm. Ikaw ba ang administrator?
Sir?
Ikaw ba ang city administrator?
Sir, napuputol po.
Ikaw ba ang city administrator ng Batangas?
Bali, ano po yan, sir? Liga po ng lahat ng Municipal Engineers and City Engineers ng Batangas Province po.
Ikaw ang organizer?
Ako po ang president po ng Liga po.
Ah, okay. So, okay naman.
Okay naman po, successful naman sir. Medyo major event po kasi yun na ngayon lang po ginawa sa history po ng liga po namin.
I see. Congratulations. Okay, so ready ka na ba? Isagani?
Sir, may prepare po ako. Pasensya na po, hindi po ganun ka-comprehensive. Pero ano po ako, looking forward po ako sa suggestions po ninyo ng mga kasama.
Okay, sige.
Sir, nakikita na ba?
Yes.
Parang hindi lang po ganun. Malinaw po ba ako? Parang hindi lang po ganun kaganda yung audio po ng sa akin.
Okay naman, sir. Audible naman po.
Ayun. Thank you po. So magandang hapon po sa ating lahat. Ito pong naisip ko na research ay yung ding nakita ko po nung last time. So dati ang medyo may addition, may ano lang po, may konting modification. Kasi nung una tinitingnan ko lang steel slugs. So maliban dun sa steel slugs, meron pa palang waste foundry sand. So naisip ko baka pwedeng pagsamahin yung waste foundry sand at saka steel slugs kasi based on research naman parehong ginagamit sa construction si waste foundry sand at saka si steel slugs. So ang proposed title ko po ay WFS, that's waste foundry sand and steel slugs from foundry to home. And so ito po yung local steel slugs na available actually dito sa Batangas. These photos were taken from the yard po ni Steel Asia located sa Calaca, actually 2 municipalities away lang from our municipality. Aside dito kay Steel Asia, meron pa rin pong steel plant dito na malapit, si Steel Corp. And then another one is scamming. Actually, mag-establish sila ng steel plant dito mismo sa aming bayan. So naisip ko po na proper and timing itong study na to about steel waste, kasi problema talaga si steel waste. Actually, hindi lang based on researches, hindi lang dito sa Pilipinas, lalo na sa ibang bansa, kasi napakalaki na napakarami po ng na-generate nila na waste. Isa pa, yung exploitation ng natural sand and gravels nandyan talaga. Sobrang yan yung gamit na natural resources natin. Kaya nga ang ginagawa ng marami ay at hinahanapan ng alternative. Especially ngayon ang tinutuunan ng isa sa mga tinitingnan nilang sources ay yung mga waste natin tulad ng steel waste. So kung makikita niyo po dyan sa illustration, so from steel factory, tinatransfer, nilalagay sa yung iba ginagawa nilang landfill. Kaya lang sa ibang bansa actually hindi na rin masyadong ina-advise yung landfill. Kasi from landfill nakaka-pollute siya ng water, ng soil, tapos siyempre yung dust pollution nun, kasi especially yung mga malilit na particles nun napupunta din sa air. So ito po yung steel slugs na sa ngayon, ito yung gamit ng steel slug sa amin. Ginagamit lang namin siyang panambak doon sa mga barangay roads namin. Barangay roads, especially sa mga katulad po naming third class municipality, talagang major concern namin ay budget pagdating sa roads. In as much as gusto namin na masemento lahat ng kalsada, even yung mga maliliit. Kasi ang 90% na gamit ng lupa dito sa bayan namin ay into what you call the sugarcane. So 90% po nung lupa nasa sugarcane farming. Kaya yung mga kalsada, yung maliliit, minsan nga hindi pa donated na mga kalsada, yun po ay dinadaanan ng mga sasakyan na ginagamit sa pagde-deliver ng mga sugarcane papunta, pag-harvest ng sugarcane papunta dun sa milling plant. In addition, marami ding mga bahayan na medyo nasa liblib na lugar. Palibasa nga po ay agricultural itong classification ng aming munisipyo. So maraming mga nagtatayo pa rin ng bahay dun sa mga liblib na lugar. And ang isa sa mga challenges ay yung kalsada papunta dun sa lugar nila ay hindi agad namin nakokongkreto dahil nga sa kakulangan ng budget. So ang isa sa mga alternatives na ginagawa namin, o kumbaga parang band-aid solution lang, is tinatambakan namin ng base course. Kaya lang medyo expensive pa rin kasi nasa 400 pesos per cubic meter din ang presyo nun. So nung nakita namin itong si steel slugs, ito ginagamit namin pantambak po dun sa mga maliliit na kalsada. So hinahakot namin dyan, tapos ginigrader namin, kinocompact, tapos yan yung pansamantala na nagiging panambak, pang stabilize ng soil doon sa lugar, doon sa mga kalsada po nilang maliliit. So yan. Ganyan po namin siya ginagamit. So ganito yung waste foundry sand. So from foundry industries, naging waste foundry sand siya. Tapos ni-utilize sa construction industries. Pwede sa roads daw, pwede sa buildings. So paano ba nabubuo yung waste foundry sand? Tsaka si sand, paano sila nagagamit sa construction? Nag-start siya siyempre sa natural resources para makabuo ng metal na ginagamit sa metal processing. During the metal processing, pag-generate ng slag na waste, tsaka yung waste foundry sand. So yung dalawang yon, of course, si slag, maraming pa rin categories, maraming pa rin subcategories to. Si slag saka si waste foundry sand. Ito ngayon yung ginagamit sa isa dito sa mga gamit niya, yung green concrete building bricks. Yun po. Maraming studies actually na marami akong studies na nakita as to uses ni steel slugs at saka si waste foundry sand. Kaya karamihan sa mga to ay ginagamit siya as panambak lang, embankment or backfill lang, gagaya ng ginagawa namin. So, ang naisip ko ay although mayroong studies about sa concrete, kaya lang hindi siya specific. So naisip ko is pag-aralan kung paano siya magagamit doon sa PCCP, Portland Cement Pavement Concrete, para doon sa mga kalsada na hindi gaanong less traffic, tika nga, yung mga city roads namin. Kasi pagka nagamit natin to or pag nagamit namin tong WFS tsaka steel slugs as replacement sa aggregates, sa halip na halimbawa ang nagagawa lang namin ay 200 meters or 300 meters na kalsada, mas mapapahaba namin yung kaya namin gawin for a budget na meron kami. So that way, mas matutulungan yung mga tao na nandun sa liblib na lugar, mas haba. Hindi magiging mahirap para sa kanila yung means of transportation nila because nakongkreto na natin yung mas mahabang portion ng kanilang kalsada. So, actually yun lang, ganun lang po kasimple.
So ano magiging title mo?
Yes, sir.
What will be your title?
Sir, napuputol po.
Ano ang magiging title ng study?
Ito sana sir yung title. Ito po, waste foundry sand and steel slugs from foundry to home.
Kaso hindi siya magiging hindi siya mag-a-appear na pang-structural yung study mo. So, ang niyan ay either ang niyan ay influence of waste foundry sand and steel slugs on the structural behavior of reinforced concrete, kunwari ganun, or so you check structural behavior on the properties of mga ganun yung mga more on structural analysis ng material characterization.
Yes, sir. More of structural behavior nga po yung titingnan. Sir, ang other alternative title ko po sana ay kasi baka nga po misleading yung unang title. Naisip ko lang po, baka catchy siya. So, ang alternate title po sana is WFS and steel slag as substitute to aggregates in PCCP for less traffic road.
More on lang siya. For road, lang yan. Embankment lang yan. Hindi siya Diba?
Sir.
Parang lang yan, pang embankment lang yan. Hindi siya kasi ginamit mo siya pang compacted concrete pavement, di ba?
Sir, napuputol lang po talaga. Mahina po yata net ko.
Hindi siya magmumukhang structural parang lang siya. Ginawa mo lang siyang subgrade or sa base course, parang ganyan.
Yes sir, actually hindi ko po siya gagawing sub-base or subgrade. Ang plano ko po ay siya mismo yung gagamitin ko po sa PCCP. Magsa-substitute po ako ng say, titingnan ko po kung kaya
Ano ba yung
na
PCCP, Portland Cement Concrete, ano? Ano ba yung
concrete pavement po.
Ganun lang din yun kasi take note, less traffic nga yan, no? Ibig sabihin, by foot lang yan. Walang masyadong ano, no? Impact. Volume yung ano mo, di ba? So, ang ano, parang ang ano lang yan ay ano, no? Has something to do with ano, influence of WFS and steel slug as partial aggregate replacement on the physical and mechanical properties of Portland cement. Ano ba yan? Concrete pavement. Parang ganun lang. Ano yan?
Okay po sir.
It's more on, kasi kinakarakterize mo muna bago mo siya i-implement. No? So you just study about the influence of WF and steel slug as a partial aggregate replacement on the physical and mechanical properties of PCCP. Ganun lang yun. Ano nun? Tapos, yun nga.
Okay.
Kung ang ano mo naman ay structural ano ba? Structural engineering properties of concrete utilizing WFS and steel as partial aggregate replacement in PCCP, parang ganyan. So you try to search for some related literature na ganun yung mga title niya kung yan ang gusto mong gawin. Pwede ka rin magawa ng pwede ka rin gumawa ng mga parang physical and mechanical property characterization on the engineering properties of WFS and steel slug concrete. Mga ganun. So, kindly improve the title. Okay? Sige.
Thank
Any
you po, sir.
questions? And then magsimulang magano ng mga objectives, mga gano'n, no? Etc.
Sir, pwede pong mag-question, sir.
Sure.
Ay, Sir Isagani, may ano lang po ako, may mga comments, no? Bali, ang gusto niyo pong gawin, yung mga dumi galing sa foundry, na yung mga sa sand, tsaka steel slugs, idadagdag nyo sa sa halo ng semento, ganun po ba to? Tapos ilalagay dito sa road, pero hindi talaga siya pang main road. Ganun po ba 'yon?
Sir, actually i-alter kumbaga sa halip na purong buhangin, pwedeng kalahati ng buhangin, kalahati ng other aggregates ay papalitan ng WFS at saka steel slugs. Yun yung objective ko. Objective ko is to find the proper proportion. Is it 40% nung fine sand yung papalitan ko ng WFS, 30% nung G1 yung papalitan ko ng steel slugs. Yun yung gusto kong malaman. Papalitan para doon sa PCCP.
I think kung ang pananaw ko diyan, you should you should have a base information of the process na ginagamit ngayon, kasi 'di ba magpapalit ka, 'di ba? So dapat may mga karakteristika or properties ng ginagamit ngayon. Then once na ginawa mo 'yan, maiko-compare natin, kasi we have to assess, we have to compare yung performance, tama po ba? Kasi kung sasabihin natin na pwede, maaring pwede, pero ano yung mga impact? Madali ba siyang mag-crack or 'di ba mabasag and so on, kasi yun ang I think yun ang gusto nating mapatunayan kasi I think magandang project to because marami talagang 'di ba, kasi waste na to yung waste foundry sand kasi galing din kami sa foundry, sa MRDC may foundry kami, so marami talagang waste doon na sand tsaka yung mga slags. So kung magagawa natin ng proper use yung mga waste, napakabuti po talaga. Kaya lang ang siguro ang comment ko or tanong is halimbawa napatunayan po natin na pwede, ano yung paano natin siya i-characterize na is it comparable to the current practice? Na para bang yun po ang parang gusto kong anuhin na paano mo maka-qualify na maganda talaga yung result na kasi dapat meron siguro tayong mga mga baseline information ng ginagamit ngayon kasi halimbawa pag nilagyan natin ng used sand baka ma-alter yung mga di ba yung mga properties or yung mga slag, baka may effect dun sa structural stability tsaka integrity. Ganun po ba yung gusto niyong gawin? Kasi kung sasabihin natin na
tama naman.
Kung sasabihin natin na let me finish muna sir. Kung sasabihin natin na pwedeng gamitin, baka naman talagang pwede. Kaya lang baka after a while, 'di ba, mga ilang buwan or after some time baka 'di ba? Baka doon natin makita yung impact, masira agad or hindi pala siya talagang pangmatagalan, ganun po ba? Ganun po ba yung nasa na ano niya, parang gusto niyong i-investigate? Yun po ang bali tanong ko.
Yeah, tama naman po. Actually, kaya nga natin sa pag-aaralan, investigate natin ano yung magiging effect. Of course, since experimental yung method ng research, it will involve testing, tapos paggawa ng molds, kung kaya naming mag-lay ng PCCP, tapos we have to observe kung ano yung actual behavior niya pagka ginamit na talaga sa PCCP. Then we'll do that. This will be an experimental method of research.
Okay.
The purpose nga is para makatipid, para yung budget na we have somehow ay kasi ito makukuha to ng libre pinamimigay lang to sa
kasi
mga steel companies as compared doon sa sand and gravel ngayon na napakamahal na actually. Napakamahal na. So ang purpose nitong research is how to make use of this alternative materials, waste materials na hindi naapektuhan yung quality nung konkreto, nung kalsada, at napoprovide pa rin niya yung nasa-serve pa rin niya yung purpose niya. Yan po.
Yung mga concrete po ba, I think may mga standard testing po yun, di ba? Ano ba yung mga testing no? Compressive? Ganun? Ano bang bearing ba yan? Or yung halo, yung tapang ng halo or yung property niya, kasi may mga standards po yan ano po ba yung mga yun? Kasi wala akong, hindi kasi ako civil or structural Kasi alam ko sa civil inaaral po yun Halimbawa yung concrete, di ba? Kasi yung quality malalaman nila yan yung tapang o yung kalidad ng semento, tama po ba? Hello, narinig niyo ba sir? Sir Isagani?
Medyo napuputol po ang sama talaga ng signal.
Ulitin ko na lang po.
Of course, it will involve test. There will be compressive strength, nakikita ko yan. Flexural, titingnan din yan. Of course, yung properties ng materials. May mga research na about properties ng materials, kaya lang yung nakita ko pong properties ay yung properties ng waste sa ibang bansa. Of course, somehow there will be variations kahit pa pareho sila ng klase kasi iba yung weather condition, local conditions natin dito. So, of course, even with the presence of characteristics, properties na nakuha na sa ibang researches, magiging baseline lang magiging baseline ko lang 'yon, magiging reference ko lang 'yon pag ginamit ko na siyempre itong mga materyales na to, I have to check pa rin, test pa rin, alamin pa rin kung ano yung talagang actual properties nila bago sila gamitin.
So if I get it right, bali halimbawa if you happen to find the proper proportion ng mga materials, halimbawa kung ilang percent yung ihahalo mo na waste foundry sand or yung steel slugs, and then sabihin natin na natagpuan mo na yung na find out mo, and then I think yung kailangan natin is gawin is yung pag tinest mo siya, the result should be up to the standard, comparable to the common practice ngayon ng semento. Parang ganun po ba?
Tama po. Of course, hindi lang naman isang klase ng hindi lang isang klase ng mix yung gagamitin ko. Perhaps I would start with 25% replacement ratio, and I'll go for 30, 35. Siguro yung set na yon. I'll test those. Pagka nakita ko na yung 35% ay masyadong mataas pa yung strength niya, baka pwede ko pang dagdagan, baka pwede ko pang gawing 40, 45, something like that. Hindi lang ito yung one-time test, kasi hanapin natin yung replacement ratio na magsasatisfy pa rin doon sa strength requirement nung paggagamitan niya.
Sa standard.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
Sige po, yun. Naintindihan ko na po. Salamat po, sir.
Welcome pa.
Okay, so it's more on ano yan, no? Materials optimization ng ano niya. So there are so many papers that I have shared in the chat. So I think a matter of ano lang yan, no? Researching on the related literatures, bibliometric analysis on the use of industrial waste as substitute for aggregates in concrete, mga ganyan. So please read more and study, no? Sagani. Okay.
Apo. Thank you po, sir. Thank you very much po.
So ang dami niyang sinare ko na yan ng mga papers sa sa chat. And I think that will be very useful, no? On how you will be conceptualizing your study. Kasi dalawang mo dyan, using steel slug and using waste foundry sand, no?
Apo.
Sige, okay, palakpakan natin si Isagani. Okay, meron pa bang hindi nakapag-present? Okay, so lahat naman na yata, then need to finalize your topics, start working on chapter 1, and then we'll start with chapter 2, no? Sige. Any question? May tanong ba? May tanong? Wala. Nakikita nyo ba yung
Yes, sir. Visible box.
Okay, sige. So how are we going to write our thesis, no? First, we have to select the research topic that we really like, that is aligned to our passion, aligned to our expertise, and something that is close to our heart. And of course, when you select a topic, then you need to learn more about it. You need to really concentrate on which relevant related literature should be taken or should be selected in order for you to come up with a good proposed title. So when you select, when you decide, or when you choose a topic, then make sure that it will really advance the body of knowledge, that it will really close the gap or bridge the gap that you have identified, and it has some originality or novelty, no? So after that, you will have your research proposal. You need to prepare and therefore come up with a very good topic or title. But prior to the selection of the topic that you wish to present, you need to carefully read some related literatures, no? And of course, after that, you have to identify your general objectives and specific objectives. Therefore, there are research questions that you need to formulate before you can start writing your proposal. And when we say research, we have discussed this already in the past, that it's simply a process of making a search in order to answer your question in mind. And there are several types of research. One is the basic and the other one is applied. So the types of research may also fall under theoretical, experimental, or systems development. But the skills that we need in performing or doing research is practically the same. So what are the skills or talents that you need? Of course, you need to have a learned capacity or talent in order to carry out what you have identified as a research problem that requires investigation. So through time, our stock knowledge can also be used in order to properly evaluate or investigate the topics that we have identified. And sometimes we also need the help of other people to enlighten us, to guide us. And therefore, we will not only be needing technical skills, but we also need soft skills, how to talk, how to write, how to have everything. And therefore, we need to have a balance between your technical skills in writing and your ability to communicate your proposed topic, so that if somebody is interested, then you can pitch your idea and somebody can or could might finance, no, your proposed study. And when you start doing a thesis, so ano ba ang difference? What's the difference between a thesis and a dissertation? So when we talk about a dissertation, it must form a distinctive contribution to the knowledge of the subject and afford evidence of originality and shows discovery of new facts or by the exercise of independent critical power, according to the University of London regulation. So when you start doing a thesis, at first you must have an argument. What is that argument? It must be valid, and you need to expose your original idea, and therefore either your proposed study would result to the development of a product that can be commercialized, the development of a prototype that could be used for other experiments, or your study could be used in the could be applied for a patent, could be applied for a copyright, could be applied for that could be used as a basis for policy, could be used as a basis for extension programs. So we'll be going back to the 6 P's that we keep on talking. Ano ba yung mga 6 P's na yun? Product, policy, publication, partnership, people who will be gaining from the result of the study as your beneficiaries, etc. No? So yung ganon, no? So you need to keep in mind that the research that you will be working should be aligned with the 17 United Nations SDGs as well. And something that is publishable, something that can be commercialized, or something that can be used as a basis for policy. Kaya ito sabi niya dito, no? And take note that when you publish your work, not all the content of your thesis can be published. So you can write maybe 2 or 3 papers out of your thesis. So in starting the research process, you have to identify the research problem. There must be a problem that you need to address, because your research problem will be the basis for the research design for your methodology. And therefore, we need to review some literatures. We need to review, not copy and paste what we read, but we need to synthesize. We need to digest. We need to get the gist and specify in our study the purpose or objective of our research, identifying what's the purpose of the review of related literature, to determine what has been done, to determine the latest status of the study being investigated, whether there will be duplications, whether there will be similarities or differences. Then it's through the bibliometric analysis of this study that we can actually get a good understanding of what has been done or what has been done. And upon research, maybe you can see thousands of papers published aligned with the topic that you have selected. So you will decide whether to continue or not to continue, because there are already so many studies done and it's very saturated. And I mean to say, there are so many studies available in the net, and therefore you cannot identify any specific research gap or any research problem from those papers, because it might have been addressed by other researchers. So after you identify the purpose or the objective of your study, then that's the only time that you can prepare for the collection of your data. As I have mentioned, that the purpose or the objective of the study will be the basis for the data collection, and therefore the research design that you need to do, whether it is experimental, whether it is a qualitative or a quantitative or whatever type of research, whether it is a social research, whether it's an experimental, developmental research, that depends on the purpose of the study. And once you have collected the data that you need, then make sure that the data collected are all aligned to the objectives of the study. And once you have collected all the data needed, then you need to analyze it and make some interpretations, and then come up with a report and publish your paper or present your paper in a conference. And therefore, that's simply reporting and dissemination of the output of the research. So what are the things that we have to keep in mind in selecting a research topic? What are the considerations that you need to take into consideration? These are the things that I have mentioned earlier, that it must be aligned to your passion, something that is really interests you, and therefore you are curious on what could be the answer to your question, and something that could provide advancement, or that could advance the body of knowledge that could contribute in your professional field. And the novelty and the relevance of the study should also be taken into consideration, as well as the feasibility of completing the study within a given time frame. So whether it is feasible, considering the time constraints and considering the ethical constraints, whether this will really promote and advance knowledge, and whether this will be useful to any organization, and whether the needed materials and equipment are locally available or can be obtained and can be possibly undertaken locally. And also, when you select the topic, make sure that you would be able to finish it and graduate on time. So what are the possible sources? Where can we possibly source out our research topic? One, from your teachers or from your advisor or from your colleagues. And you can also talk about them about ongoing projects, whether there are ongoing projects for the bachelor's, for the master's, or for the PhD program, or read some peer-reviewed journals, just like what I've done a while ago. I sent you some of the references that you could possibly use for your study, and that would depend on your personal experiences. Just like what Isagani was saying a while ago, that they are using these industrial waste or some road waste. But these materials were not
Wala.
okay. So the materials were not yet properly investigated in terms of its structural performance, and therefore we cannot just recommend for its utilization and application for structural applications, no?
Sir Bakay, pwede po magtanong?
Yes.
Can I ask a question? If
Sure,
I may
sure.
interrupt.
Yes,
A while ago, you made mention of sustainable development goal of the is it coming from the UN po? SDG ba
yes,
po?
yes, yeah, yes,
So
yes.
bali kung gagawa kami ng research at it is parang you're trying to tell us that it is better to somehow align doon sa development goals po. Parang ganon. Sustainable development goals na laid out by the UN. Wala ba? Hello?
Parang nawala po si Doc.
Parang nawala si Sir.
Yes.
Exactly, yeah.
Apo. Kasi
You have to identify,
listahan po yun ng mga goals.
among the 17 SDGs the main idea on why you are doing this study and what particular SDG are you trying to address.
Kasi kaya the reason why that is my question is because there are other sources of possible topics. For example, I'm a professor in Bulacan State University. The university itself has its own list of parang mga possible direction po, 'di ba? So hindi ko pa lang nakita yung sa UN, baka more or less somehow align naman sila kasi baka gano'n naman. Kasi meron yung DOST kasi siya yung agency sa mga research and science, 'di ba, and technologies. Tapos meron din yung university. Pero sa tingin ko po may mga pagkakapareho halos kasi halos generic naman yung mga gano'n po sa tingin ko. Tama po ba?
Actually, all the researches being conducted by state universities and colleges, and I think private universities, were aligned or are
Naka-align sa DOST.
We're aligned to the UN SDGs because the DOST Ambition 2040 are also based on the UN SDGs as well. Yes, as well
Okay
as the roadmap for the National Higher Education, the NERA, and also the department, also the National Economic Development Authority. So
Sa NEDA.
lahat ng 'yon, lahat ng 'yon ay harmonized,
Harmonized po.
We're
Nice.
harmonized, and these are all geared towards the realization of the UN SDGs.
Okay.
So doon lahat naka-align.
Opo. Thank you po, sir.
Oo.
Salamat.
Kaya para bang kapag tinanong kayo, ano bang ina-address nung nung study mo? You are addressing poverty alleviation? Is your study focused on zero hunger? Does your study focus on quality education, gender equality, something like that, no? So, search nyo lang yung UN SDGs at alin dyan sa 17 na yan ang ina-address. Kaya pag-present nyo, pinapa-identify ko sa mga estudyante ko, ano ang ina-address ng study mo sa UN SDGs. Nakita nyo na ba yung mga doon? Yung mga UN SDGs?
Binigyan niyo ba kami ng copy, sir? Parang may po ba?
Yeah, last time I think I have shown you, no?
Yes, sir.
Pinakita ko na yung
Parang pinakita po last time.
Oo.
Sige po. Research na lang namin. Hanapin na namin.
So, yan. You can check that. Those images, no? Diyan sa chat, pinadala ko yung Okay. And tama ba? Nasa na nga tayo? Doon sa sa selection ng ng specific SDG na gusto nating i-address. Okay? Sige. Anything else? Any question? So we can also base our decision based on our personal experiences na na-encounter ko na yan. So, posibleng ganitong pwede kong gawing study, no? And other existing literature. Okay? What else? But, of course, just like what we are doing, we are discussing on the merits of your proposal, and therefore, nakikita niyo pa ba yung slide?
Yes po, Doc.
Yes, sir.
So therefore, there's a need to refine your topic, and you need to narrow down, especially if the title is quite long, and we need to simplify, make it sexy, make it something that is catchy, and therefore make sure that the title will be encompassing, holistic, that all the things that you will be doing in the paper can be properly reflected on the title. And make sure that you will be able to identify a theoretical framework that would be used as a supporting theory that will back up your argument, and make sure that you define the terms clearly or unambiguously. So make it clear and specific That is why the title is very important. Because just like what I've said last time, kapag gano yan, parang sa dyaryo, no? Kung ano ba yung kanyang front page, ano yung nakabalandra doon sa title ng ating dyaryo. Ganun din sa mga journals. And in our activity last time, when I asked you to do the abstract critiquing, then those abstract of articles that you have chosen that caught your attention, kinuha nyo, di ba? That is why the title is very important. You need to refine your topic. Sometimes I'm telling you that the title is quite vague. It's too long and it's very broad, and therefore we make it specific. And make sure that from those proposed topic or title that you have identified, then we can easily develop the questions and possibly test the hypothesis. So it is important that before you can make any proposed study or proposed research, make sure that you read some literature so that you will be properly armed with information, that you have a backup whenever you make an argument or you make a discussion with your professor that this is my proposal. Why? Why do you like to do that? So that will be the first question to be asked by your teacher. And therefore, because you are familiar with the topic, you have read hundreds of papers on the topic, then it will be you can easily convince your professor that I have done so much reading on the topic and I have identified the research gap. I know the originality of my paper. I know what is the novelty of my paper, and I know the similarity and the differences between my study and those other researchers who have done a study on this particular topic. So you have to make sure that if your idea has been really tried and you have include all the relevant constructs, or you have really identified the research gap that you really wish to bridge, and make sure that the instruments that you use in data gathering will also be identified based on the readings you have done, because there are times when you also adopt a similar approach, a similar methodology, and therefore you just cite the references of your methodology or process, and always be ready for some common problems that you might encounter along the way. So,
Sir, baka pwede pong magtanong doon sa previous slide?
yes.
Yung pangalawa pong, the second bullet, I think I already sent to you yung questions dun sa ano natin sa chat thread. I would like to know yung difference po ng theoretical framework tsaka yung isa yung conceptual framework.
Okay. The theoretical framework, these are the framework from established theories. So what are the theories that you know in your field, for instance? So can you enumerate possible theories that are commonly used in your field, for example?
Halimbawa, sir, sa field ko na mechanical, ganun po?
Yes. For example.
Yung mga theory ng thermodynamics.
Yeah.
Po?
So yung mga theories doon sa
transfer,
thermodynamics, yun yung mga yun din yung mo, no? Yun din ang magagamitin mong parang kung ang study mo ay related to
heat,
to
thermal,
renewable energy, for instance. So ano yung mga theories on renewable energy? Say for example on wind, on hydrothermal, kunyari ganon. So
or solar, ganon.
Solar, so photovoltaic, kunyari. So yung mga theories na yon, you need to be familiar with those. Make sure that, kasi nga, para nagpo-propose ka ng wala ka namang scientific basis na sasabihin mo na this can be tried and can be possibly tested using the theory of ganito. Diba? And I based my design for the aerodynamic based on the theory of ganyan. Diba? So, yun yung theoretical framework. Ano yung nila? Ano yung kung baga sa theoretical framework, ano ba yung diagram nila na ginamit doon na pwede mo ring gamitin sa iyong study to simply illustrate your argument. Now, what's the difference with the theoretical framework with the conceptual framework? The conceptual framework is the kumbaga sa snapshot ng research process na gagawin mo. How are you going to do your research? Paano mo gagawin yon? So nakita mo na kaagad yung difference, no? Yung theoretical framework, these are based on established theories.
Established theories.
Yes. The conceptual framework is the diagram that will show the flow of conducting the research. So yun yung conceptual framework. Whether you use a dependent, independent, and intervening variable to illustrate the process on how you will be dealing with the variables in your study. So yun, paano ang relationship ng independent variables and anong maging effect nito doon sa dependent variable mo.
So ano ko lang po, i-confirm ko lang by chronological order, mauuna po yung conceptual framework, parang ganun po ba? Sa presentation?
Siguro mas mauna ang depende sa format na bibigay.
Okay.
Mauna ang theoretical concept. Kasi didiscuss mo muna yung mga anchored on what theory yung mga pinagdidiscuss mo sa sa review of related literature mo. So sa bandang dulo, dahil ito yung mga ginamit mong mga theories, then ito na yung aking research model, framework, conceptual framework.
But both of them, sir, ang tanong ko po, both of them can be represented sa diagram, tama po ba? Pwedeng gawing parehong diagram ang
it could be in narrative form, could be in diagram, a figure. Pwede.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay po.
So you can present your theoretical framework in narrative or in the form of a diagram. Then discuss mo na lang yung diagram.
Opo.
Then yung conceptual framework, ito yung dinidiscuss mo last time na input, process, output, di ba? So what will be the input sa concept mo, conceptual framework? This will be my concept. I'll be starting with the input of the study. So what are my input to be processed? Di ba? Then what will be the output of my study? What will be the tangible output of my study? So yun siya. So that is the conceptual framework.
Okay.
Okay?
Thank you po.
Okay. So we need to prepare, especially when we are presenting a research proposal. Make sure that our idea is really straightforward, specific, well expressed, and the methodology is clear, and the process of evaluating the findings is also clear. So, ang ibig sabihin nito ay merong validity and reliability yung ating pinipresent na idea, no? Dapat klaro. Whatever topic we share, we pitch, make sure that this is straightforward, properly defined. There are clear indicators, and also there is a clear methodology in order to evaluate and determine the validity and reliability of the proposal. So these are the things that we need to take into consideration when we are proposing, that we are very clear on explaining what is the problem, what will be the scope of research to be undertaken, because our purpose is to inform the reader, especially on the nature of the proposed research. And we have to convince them, no, that it is worth doing, that is worth investing, and therefore it will be significant and provide or make a difference to the world, because it could be used as a basis for policy, it could be used as a basis for making decisions, and parang sa ano, di ba? Parang sa COVID-19 na pandemic na may mga studies na ginawa on COVID. So, tayo ba basta-basta na lang magpapaturok ng mga ano, kung hindi naman tayo talagang ano doon sa ano ng vaccine, no? That it's really, so parang ganyan din yan, no, sa ating study. And make sure that we would be able to demonstrate our capacity, our capability, and our expertise in doing the study. Kaya ako tinatanong, ano ba ang ano mo, field of expertise mo? Ano ba ang major mo? Dapat aligned, no? That you have the qualification to undertake such kind of research, that you are capable of doing this and be able to use existing theories relevant to your topic. And make sure that you properly plan and you know exactly what are the phases of the work to be undertaken, what are the components that would fit together in order to come up with a prototype, in order to come up with a good project. No? So alam natin, paano ba ang ating itinerary para matapos natin yung study? Ano ba ang general objective mo? Ano ba ang specific objective mo? And what are the things that you need in order to finish? So who will be your target respondents? Who will be your collaborators? Make sure that you know them in order that you can really finish the study, because you will be needing equipment, you will be needing materials, so you need to know where to get those materials. You have a supplier, you need to collaborate with someone who could do the testing, etc. And to contract with different group of people or agencies who can properly help you in completing your research, who could provide you the grant and who could provide you assistance and who could lend you some equipment for the testing. So mahalaga ito, no? Kaya sa pag-propose pa lang ninyo, dapat alamin nyo na meron ba tayong equipment na magagamit? Magkano? Kakayanin ba ng ating budget? Kanino tayo hihingi ng tulong, no? So, sino kaya ang mga posibleng lapitan? So, iyan ay mahalaga sa ating paggawa ng proposal. And when you make a proposal, make sure that you have a cover page, you have a summary. Last time, pinadalhan ko na kayo ng form ng DOST, di ba? And I hope nakita nyo, na-browse nyo yun, kung anong mga laman nun. And parang ganito lang din yun, no? Meron siyang introduction, meron siyang literature review, problem statement. So, pero dito sa inyong study, ito yung mga parang kailangan ninyong i-prepare para sa inyong proposal. And make sure that all the references will be properly cited. And you have to summarize the importance or significance of your proposal, citing the intellectual merit and the impact of the study. So, ito yung mga kailangan na ma-specify, no? Yung scientific engineering education, objective of the project, the times and the specific objectives, as well as the method, the process on how this will be realized, no? And parang ano lang din, no, yung 6Ps ito, no? Kaya mahalaga na i-highlight natin itong mga to. And then yung sa review of related literature, tinatanong ni Sir Inaw last time, paano ba gagawin yun, no? Ito yung ginagawa according to Creswell, no? So, the literature review is a written summary of journal articles, books, and other documents that describes the past and current state of information organizes the literature into topics and documents a need for a proposed study. So dito, magbabasa ka. No? Magbabasa ka. Hindi ko naman sinabing hindi kayo magbasa. Lahat magbasa kayo. Kaya nga, sinabi ko na at least 50 papers ang basahin nyo. At least yun, minimum, ibig sabihin, no? Ano ba? At least, yeah, at least. Hindi ko naman sinabing at most. 50 below, parang ganon. Kapag at most, no? At least, kapag sinabing at least, minimum of 50 papers. Sa isang article pa lang, meron na siyang references na 30. O di, meron ka ng prospective na 50 or 30 na references mula roon. O kung hindi ka pa interesado, mag-download ka ulit. And then you can get another sources of reference. And therefore, these are secondary information coming from journal articles that are not predatory. Make sure that the journal articles that you will be citing are from reputable publications. And ano ba ang purpose ng review of related literature? Katulad ng sinabi ko, ito ay survey ng mga previous studies, previous investigations ng mga ibang researchers. At dito, sinabing related, dapat related talaga, no? Hindi hindi mga paper na pinagtagpi-tagping paper na pinagkabit-kabit mo doon sa iyong chapter 2. Kasi basura lang 'yon kapag wala namang istorya, no? Walang kakwenta-kwenta, walang story. So dapat yung kwenta dapat may kwento sa likod ng kwenta, no? So ibig sabihin, there must be a story from those 50 papers that you have read. There must be a good story to tell, and make sure na ang mga papel or mga papers na to na binasa nyo ay pang-suporta lang sa inyong sa inyong study. Hindi ito ang pinaka-originality ng study ninyo, kundi ginagamit lang natin itong mga papers na ito. We're trying to use these papers para ma-establish natin yung ating ina-identify na problema or research gap. Parang sinasabi nila, parang tumatayo ka sa balikat ng mga giant. Kasi yung mga binasa mong mga paper, mga known mga known researchers. Parang tayo ay nakatayo sa balikat ng mga ginagamit natin yung kanilang papers. Kaya natin sinasite. Pero kapag yung sinasite mo ay mali at predatory, malaking question yun. No? That's why we need to carefully choose which paper to cite. And ang gold standard normally ay yung mga naka-index sa Scopus, sa SCI, sa Clarivate Analytics kasi nakapag-establish na sila ng good reputation. So you need to have an exhaustive review of related literature. There is no set number. Sinabi ko lang na 50 as a minimum para maintindihan nyo naman yung inyong topic. Kapag nakapagbasa ka lang ng 2 paper, sabihin mo, pwede na ako mag-propose. Hindi gano'n, no? Kasi baka may mga duplications, baka may mga nagawa na, uulitin mo lang. So, iniiwasan natin yon, no? So, we really need to exhaust, we need really to understand and synthesize later on the story. Para kang nanood ng sine, no? Nanood ka ng mga siguro 50 na movies on a particular topic. Then saka mo siya ni-review, and then anong mga findings, anong mga doon, no? Then you just highlight. And if possible nga, yung tinatanong kanina ni Miss Eliza, kung anong gagamitin ng mga references, pwede ba yung luma? Pwede naman, sparingly. But in technical terms and technical research, normally ginagamit natin yung mga papers within the last 10 years para medyo mas updated naman, no? And make sure that these are pioneering work, these are original works or seminal works, and syempre, make sure that the references are reliable, no? So these are the purpose of the review. You have to gain knowledge about the background of the study that they have done. You can relate it to your proposed study, and you can also check their methodologies, and also what are the significant findings they obtained in their study and how they wrote their report. So, doon tayo natututo, no? Ang galing-galing nitong author na to kasi napakasimple ng kanyang pagsusulat at madaling maintindihan. So, hindi na gusto natin gawin sa ating study. Dapat madaling maintindihan ng reader yung paano siya kino-convey yung mga ideas. And these are the references that you could possibly refer to. You can refer to books or journals, electronic databases, bibliographic databases, etc., and other reports, and other unpublished researches such as dissertations and theses. So, katulad ng sinabi ko kanina, hindi yan pinagtagpi-tagping mga cut and paste na review ng mga papers, no? Hindi ganoon siya, hindi siya listahan or mga dapat gagawan natin ng kwento, gagawan natin ng pinaka-essay, no? Kaya ginagamit natin yung mga yan para mag-provide ng magandang insights ng mga status, ano na ba ang ano ng updates doon sa pinag-aaralan mo, sino na ba ang mga gumawa, at i-lay down mo yung similarity, differences ng gagawin mong study, and ma-justify mo kung bakit ang study na to ay ginagawa. Makikita nyo dito, no? Yung mga masters at saka doctorate, kayo, ginagamit nyo na kung ano yung mga existing theories, ginagamit nyo na kung ano mga existing methods and procedures in order to finish your research. Pero ang mga doctoral students ay normally nag-create ng new idea. And therefore, mas malalim ang study na ginagawa ng mga nagdo-doctoral. Making sure that they will have new knowledge na ma-develop at ito ay may linking ng mga ideas and theories, or they can develop new theories. So, yun, mas malalim. Ingay yung aso namin. So, yun siya, no? Yes.
Bali, doon po sa mga existing na mga ideas, pwede ka rin kumuha, hindi ka ba
yung sinasabi ko na kumuha ka, pero sabihin mo kung kanino yun galing. Huwag mong ariin.
Okay.
Oo. Hindi yung nagka-cut and paste ka. Sinasabi mo na itong study na to ay galing kay ganito. Ang sabi ni ganito, ganyan. So parang nagmamarites ka dyan eh. Dito sa review of related literature, nagmamarites ka dito, no? Sinasabi mo na dito na may mga 5 papers tungkol dito sa topic na to. Sina ganito, ganyan, nag-aral ng ganito. Di ba? Parang ganon. O base sa report na ganito, o ganon siya. Dito sa chapter 2 marites ito, no? Hindi ito pag-aariin mo na sa'yo yan. Kasi mahalata ka eh. Oo, mahalata ka na kapag nagka-copy and paste ka, ang galing naman ito mag-English at kopya-kopya. Kapag yan ay sinerch doon sa internet, madali na kasing magtingin ngayon eh. At meron tayong anti-plagiarism check, di ba? Meron tayong Turnitin or mga other anti-plagiarism check na nalalaman niya kung saan galing itong statement na to, kay kanino galing. So, hindi ka pwedeng magsinungaling kasi merong software. So, kung magmamarites ka din lang, sabihin mo na sinabi ni Tessa at sa kanya ganito daw, ganyan. Pero base sa kanilang study, nakalimutan nilang pag-aralan itong ganitong aspeto. Kaya, dito sa study ko, ito ang aking gagawin. Ganun ba? So, yan ang purpose ng review of related literature. Na alamin ano na ang mga nagawa, ano ang mga problema na na-encounter, ano ang mga pagkakamali na nagawa na dapat huwag ulitin, at ano ang mga methodology na ginamit na pwede mo rin gamitin. O hindi naman masamang gumamit ng methodology nila, sabihin mo lang din sa paper mo na ang methodology na gagamitin ko sa study na to ay galing kay ganyan. Okay?
Pero po, Doc, sa doctoral, ano po yan? Hindi pwedeng ganyan.
Pareho lang
Sa
din,
masteral
ganun
lang
lang din. Pareho lang din. Ang pagkakaiba lang ng mga doctoral saka masters, kung tutuusin, yung mga mga masters, ginagamit na nila yung mga established na mga theories, etc. Itong mga doctoral, as much as possible, makapag-develop ng mga new theories. Kayo, gagamitin nyo lang yung mga theories na develop na. Adapt yung mga Pero sila, kung maaari, makapag-develop ng bagong study.
Ay, salamat, Doc, sa naliwanagan.
Other questions? Yes, Joseph. Joseph, anong tanong?
Hindi ko lang naibaba, Doc. Sorry.
Okay. So, ituloy ko lang para matapos konti itong So, you need to record, Kailangan nyo i-organize yung inyong mga review of related literature. Laging meron kayong notebook or meron kayong notes na hawak-hawak para kapag may nabasa kayo, ilista nyo saan galing, kailan ninyo sinite, kailan nyo anong page, ganyan. So, mahalaga yan. Pero kung kayo naman ay very organized and systematic, mag-create kayo ng folder, Kunyari may folder kayo, create kayo ng folder para sa mga diagrams, create kayo ng folder para sa mga methodology, create kayo ng folder ng mga articles na magkakapareho ng thematic, So, ganun siya, organize. Para pag hinanap mo, hindi bububukla din lahat. Dapat bawat folder properly labeled. And inside, yung mga topics, yung mga title ilagay mo. Kasi madugo. Kapag meron kang 100 na papers na hahanapin, so dapat naka-organize lahat. And yun ang purpose ng mga source card. Pero sa ngayon, meron naman na kayong computer. So all you need to do is to type. Meron kang Microsoft Word. O di-type mo. Kung meron kang Excel file, di-Excel file mo. So yun lang ang ibig sabihin nito, na ito yung ilalagay mo, ano yung pangalan ng author, ito yung format, ito yung dati pa, nung nagla-library pa ang mga tao, pero sa ngayon, bibihira mag-library ang mga tao, mag-search lang sa internet, ang dami nilang makukuha ng mga articles, Kasi may mga electronic files na rin naman, kaya siya ganyan, So these are the things that you need to consider, the author's name. Pero pina-assign ko sa inyo, pina-assignment ko sa inyo yung mga citation styles, formats. I hope na familiar na kayo at nabasa nyo na yan. So you have to properly record all the information using a note card. And ito yung mga yon, Always remember na kapag tayo ay nagre-review ng literature, ay pipiliin natin yung mga relevant literature na talaga namang original, na madaling intindihin, na ito ay within the 10-year period, at properly ito ay naka-index, cited and indexed, in Scopus or STI or in Clarivate Analytics, etc. So, yan yung mga ginagawa. These are the guidelines and the mechanics and language usage normally, At ito yung pina-assignment ko sa inyo last time, Sa tingnan nyo kung ano ba yung mga So, make sure na ang inyong mga discussions ay thematically arranged or pwede rin naman chronologically arranged yung inyong discussion or by theme, Yung inyong gagawin. And make sure that ito, yung mga dapat na sundan. Proper citations, huwag gagamit ng mga slang, mga colloquial, or mga vulgar na mga terms. at mga idiomatic expressions kasi ito ay technical writing. Hindi naman ito poetry or mga ano ng expression, no? So that's why it should be straightforward and avoid slang, no? Statements. So always see to it that you have to maintain a good record, a good journal, and make sure that you have all the copies. Tulad ng sinabi ko kanina, organize nyo lang yan, ilagay nyo sa inyong computer files, and provide a title or a caption, or lagyan nyo ng kung ano magiging title ng bawat file. No? And if you have concerns, you can consult an expert. And siguro yung mga kukuhanin yung mga ida-download yung mga files, make sure na meron kayong proper safekeeping. And you can also send it to your emails, no, para madaling ma-access kung kinakailangan. So ano ba yung mga questions? So dapat meron kang good research question. Make sure na ito yung statement of the problem. This is what I'm saying about the statement of the problem. Pero kung declarative statement naman, make sure that it is stated clearly. It should be very short or concise. No? And you have to, can be formulated based on theories or past or previous questions. And should address one concept. And should be measurable. So, ang mga dito, declarative statements, no? So, yun. You have to get 1 or 2 questions that will serve in your thesis as a paper chapter. Pero sa inyo naman, iba kasi yung normally mga 4, no? Na objectives. Isang general objectives, 4 na specific objectives. And then you have to make sure that you observe, no? Yung giving credit to whom the credit is due. Ito yung proper citations. At ito nga yung ating flow of ideas from the topic to a research problem to the evidence for the importance of the problem and the deficiencies in knowledge about the problem and your target beneficiaries of the paper or the problem that you are trying to address. So, ito yung mga titignan nyo, no? What are the ethical issues on the topic that you would like to work on? What is the research problem? Ethical violations among football recruiters, kunyari, no? So, ito yung niya. What is the gap in the literature about this? So, there must be an evidence or proof na meron talagang kulang na, no? And then, sino ngayon ang dito, magbe-benefit, paano? So, yan siya. So, ano bang pag-ano ng topic, problem, purpose, and question? So, from general to specific, yung ating, pag-construct, no? So, you have, the topic is distance learning. What is the research problem? Lack of students in distance learning classes. What's the purpose? To study why students do not attend distance education classes. What is the research question? Does the use of website technology in the classroom deter students from enrolling in a distance education class? So parang ganyan siya, no? So ito naman, ganun din, no? Mobile robotics. So what's the research problem? Multi-objective motion planning. What's the purpose? Time and energy are conflictual criteria. However, both will contribute to high efficiency of the robot. And research question. How limitation on motor torques can be handled for such a minimum time and energy plan. So, from general to specific. No? So, alam naman natin na wala talagang study na perfect. Laging yan, no? Laging a work in progress. And therefore, yung mga data na yan ay very raw pa yan. And therefore, through time, you can improve and you can make it a good one, no? And therefore, the statistical or mathematical tools that you use will help you refine this data that you have gathered. So, huwag kayong matakot magsulat kahit Tagalogin nyo pa yan, okay lang yan. Kapag wala kayo sa mood at hindi nyo kaya mag-English, Tagalogin nyo lang yan. Anyway, may time naman para mag-revise, no? You just write down your thoughts, you write down your ideas, and continue writing. Then, when you have a time to revise the draft, and then you rewrite it. No? So, ganun lang siya. Tapos yung last part, yung third part is yung methodology. So, siguro stop na lang tayo dito. No? Anyway, methodology naman na to. So, next time na lang natin to i-discuss. Focus muna tayo dito sa review of related literature. No? So, okay lang ba? Yes. Ay, naku. Narinig ba yung aking ano? Sige. So, we'll end here sa methodology, no? Then, our next activity will be about, yun nga, sa review of related literature. Okay na ba yun? But in the presentation, you just select siguro yung top 10 na very close to your, ano, no? 10 lang. Okay? Sige. Any question? Clarification? Meron po ba? Naintindihan ba yung ating discussion?
Yes po, sir.
Yes, sir po.
Okay.
Yes po, Doc.
Okay, it's already,
Oh, maliwanag.
5:16. Sorry for the, very, ano tayo? Sige. So, magpicturean na tayo. Kung may tanong, just ask. Kung may tanong kayo, magtanong lang. Baka may clarifications, no? Charlton, may tanong ba? Joseph?
Ay, wala na po. Okay na po, Doc.
Joanna? Okay, sige.
Okay na
Magpicturean
po,
na
Doc.
tayo. So, please work on your titles, no? Para matapos na tayo ng ano. Then, makastart na kayo ng review of related literature ninyo. Okay. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Okay. Sige, okay na to. Siguro, picture natin. No?
Okay na po, Doc.
Okay, thank you. Pwede na kayong mag-leave ng ano. Thank you very
Doc.
much. No?
Thank you po,
Thank you.
Doc.
Thank you, Doc.
Okay, okay.
My
Thank you.
title.
Kung may mga tanong, just feel free to message me.
Okay po, Doc. Thank you po.
Salamat po, Doc.
Thank you, classmates.
Okay, thank you.